Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, today's lesson is about chapter 2. Now I share my screen. Okay. Chapter 2 is payment instruments in international trade and international payments. Actually, there are many different types of payment instrument or instrument of payment. They are the same. Look at on the slide, we have at least 4 instruments. Bill of exchange in Vietnamese, hối phiếu. Check number 2 is check is in Vietnamese set. Next one is promissory note in Vietnamese phiếu nhận nợ. Last one is payment cards. Please add C in the end of cards because we have more than one type of cards. For example, we have debit cards, we have a credit card. So we have 4 different types of instruments. But from the first lessons, I said that we focus on export, import. That's why look at for instruments on the slide. We know that we can use all of them in international payments, including goods. I mean that selling goods or we do services. For example, you pay for me because of I serve you, but it doesn't mean that I export goods to you. But our lessons, we focus on export, import goods only. That's why we focus on the first instrument. It is bill of exchange. It means that when we sell the goods, we often use the first one, bill of exchange. Bill of exchange, you can use the word of bill of exchange, or maybe you just say exchange. Exchange, they are the same. Bill of exchange or exchange. Or sometimes you can see another word like draft. So now I send through the chat function. Wait for me 1 minute. So, bill of exchange. Or exchange, or sometimes they say draft. Okay, I just sent to you. Bill of exchange, draft, in Vietnamese, hối phiếu. So now we are going to study many things related to bill of exchange. First, we study definition. For me, definition very important. we have to understand definition. From the definition, we analyze many different things, like look at on the slide. After the definition, we examine characteristics of being of exchange, and we classify being of exchange, and of course we study form and contents of the BE, and some other knowledge like a BE acceptance or BE endorsement. Okay, from now I use abbreviation BE. BE stands for Bill of Exchange. Remember, because of also in the final exam, we often use abbreviation. Many different abbreviations we use in the exam. Okay, so now go to the definition. In fact, we have many different laws governing BE. For example, ULB, Uniform Law for Bill of Exchange, or Law of America, Law of UK, Vietnamese law. Also, we have many different laws. So you can use any definition of the laws I just mentioned. So now look at the on the slide. You have the textbook, and then you can use the definition from the book. Look at page number 42 and 43. We have definition, page 42 and 43 of the textbook you have in your hands. You have a hard copy, right? Do you have a hard copy of this book?
Yes, we have.
Okay, so look at page number 42 and number 43. Okay, now, what about the BE? A BE, a Bill of Exchange. I just said BE. I mean that Bill of Exchange is unconditional order. Unconditional order. Unconditional order. But not conditional order. In Vietnamese, mệnh lệnh vô điều kiện. Mệnh lệnh vô điều kiện. Unconditional order. Mệnh lệnh vô điều kiện. In writing, it means that in the BE, you are not allowed to use terms, to use conditional term. For example, if you say the goods must be shipped before 15th of May, it is conditional order. So if you have this term, the BE will be invalid. Invalid. That's why, remember, all terms in the BE is unconditional, but not conditional. Next one is addressed by one person to another. Here you have to understand another person. So we have to know who is issue the BE and who is the drawee. I mean that the person has to pay. So we discover person, the issuer and the drawee. Okay, now look at the next. The drawer of the BE. Drawer in Vietnamese, người ký phát. Người ký phát. I mean that the issuer of the BE. The drawer, normally drawer is creditor, chủ nợ. Okay, so in international transaction, we have two parties can be a drawer. First one is exporters. The second one is banks. I mean that commercial banks, but not state bank. Commercial banks, ngân hàng thương mại. State bank, ngân hàng nhà nước. I mean that ngân hàng trung ương. So in this case, banks here means commercial banks like Vietcombank, BIDV, Agribank, Vietinbank, Bắc Á Bank, An Bình Bank, MB Bank, a lot of different commercial banks that they are drawer. Now, what about the drawee? Imagine you issue the bill, you have to send the bill to another person because you need to obtain payment. Obtain payment. Obtain payment, what's the meaning of that? Obtain payment means that collect money. Nhận tiền, thanh toán, được thanh toán. I mean that được thanh toán. What about number 49? What's the meaning of?
Em xin lỗi cô ạ, em vừa bấm nhầm ạ.
Okay, so I just said that obtain payment or collect payment, collect money. Okay, so now creditor is the issuer or drawer of the bill. What about the drawee? Drawee or payer, người trả tiền, người trả tiền. Remember, payer but not payee. I know that a lot of students had this mistake. Payer is a person who pays. Payee is the person beneficiary receives payment. Okay, so now drawee, importers and banks, commercial banks, of course, are drawee. So now look at on the slide. We have the two parties under the group of drawer and two parties under the group of drawee. It means in reality, we have exporter issue the bill and importer is drawee, as a drawee. And bank, commercial bank issue a bill and then the drawee is importer. So at least you have 4 different types of drawer and drawee. Just in the regard of drawer and drawee, we have remember. So in the future, when you work for banks or enterprises, for example, import enterprises, you need to know in which case the exporter has to issue the bill. And when the bank, commercial bank, has to draw bill, but not exporter, you have to know exactly when exporter is drawer, when commercial bank is drawer. So from now, I think that's not easy for you to understand from now, but at least you write down a notation, okay? The drawer, please write down the notation. Drawers and drawees in international transaction, drawers and drawees in international transaction depends on two factors. First one is method of payment. Phương thức thanh toán. Or you can say payment method or method of payment. They are the same. First one is payment method. The second one is the contents of sales contracts sales contract. Do you remember sales contract? Hợp đồng thương mại. And so now, sorry, depends on the second factor is the sales contract or, sorry, and slash or. I look at on the chart. And or, LC. LC stands for letter of credit. Letter of credit in Vietnamese, thư tín dụng or tín dụng thư. So now, it is necessary for me to repeat. Now, the drawers and drawees depends on two factors. First one is method of payment or payment method. The second one is contents of sale contract and or letter of credit. Hopefully after chapter 3, you will understand this point clearly. In case you don't understand, please ask me. But don't ask me right now because I just said after chapter 3, okay? So now, move to the next keywords of the contents of the definition. So now look at the payment time. The payment time. We have the first one is at site. At site. At site means that trả tiền ngay. At site, I mean that you pay when you see the bill. The bill. But the question here is how to define site. How to define site. Okay. Now on the slide we have three different time. First one is at time exporters bank receive or see the bill. The second one is importer bank receive the bill, and next one is importer receive the bill. Okay, so now I give you an example in order to explain how to define side time. Okay, so now for example, you exporter issue a BE on 1st of April 2021. After issuing the BE, the exporter sent the BE to his bank. In this case, exporter's bank. So of course, exporter sent the BE to the bank, so the bank received the BE. Okay, so now information. The exporter's bank received the BE on 2 days later, the 3rd of April, same year. Okay. Exporter's bank received the BE on 3rd, and then exporter's bank transfer the B to importers bank by post, by courier. So the importers bank receive the B on 10 of April. Okay, 7 days later. Of course, the importers bank has to transfer the B to the importer. Okay, so now importer receive the B on (11) of April. Okay, so now look back. We have 4 different dates on the screen. Now, first one is the 1st of May. Second one is the 3rd of May. Next one is 10th of May, and the last one is 11th of May. Of April. Now, which one is side time? Which one is side time? On 1st or 3rd or 10 or 11? You have 4 different days. It is very important for us to know which one, to know side time, because if you calculate from 1st, will be different from 3rd, will be very different from 10 or from 11. Okay, so now please remember, side time. Side time is the time the importers bank receive the B. The importers bank receive B. That's why side time in this case is which one? 1st, 10, 3rd, 10 or 11?
10.
Okay, good. 10 of April. Remember. So 10 of April is side time. That's why the exporter can calculate about the time, because we know exactly about side time. Based on this time, we will check whether the importer pay right or not. Okay, 10 of May, it is a side time. Okay, if you use S side B, it is very good for you, for the exporter, because it is very fast for you to receive payment, right? But in fact, in reality, in practice, the exporter and the importer negotiate many different types of time, assign or maybe defer payment. Okay, so defer payment means the drawee does not to pay you immediately when they see the B. They have a time to prepare for payment. Okay, so now we have some examples on the slide from number 1 to number 5. Okay, now first, add 30 days after sight. Number 2, nearly the same, just one word difference is from. Instead of after we use from. Add 30 days from sight. Number 3, 60 days after date sight. Number 4, 60 days after BL date sight. And the last one is add on 31st June 2020 sight. Okay, so now please calculate the due date Due date. Due date in Vietnamese, ngày đáo hạn. Ngày đáo hạn. Ngày đáo hạn. It means the date you have to pay. You make payment. Okay. Calculate the due date for 5 cases on the slide. Use the information of the B I sent to you some minutes ago. You can check it. It's BE issue on first, Exports Bank receive on third, Importers Bank receive on 10, and Importer receive on 11. Okay, so now I think that we need more information. BL issuing date is on (31st of March 2020), and with OBN is OBN on 1st of April. Okay, calculate the due date. Okay, I just gave you information. Okay, so now you have 5 minutes to calculate the due date. 1 minute for each case. Okay, answer the question, please. Raise your hands, please. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, raise your hands, please. Okay, number Liu Tuấn Hùng, can you edit your name, please, with the number first? Okay, so
I
now,
will edit it later.
yes.
So I think the first case is the due date is 11th of May.
How do you calculate?
You
just said the first case is the result.
Yeah,
for the first case is
11th of May.
Okay, 11th of May. Okay, so now let me check the calculation, the way you calculate. Now, based on which information?
I use the outside time is 10th of April. So
okay, so you calculate from
11.
Okay,
11
from 11th of May.
Of April.
How many days are there in May? 30 or 30 days?
31.
31 or 31, okay?
31 days. So
from,
it's 10th of May.
Okay, moment. From 11 to 31st, we have 31st minus 11 and then plus 1. We have a 21 days. That's why we need 9 days more. That's why the due date falls on
10th of May.
10 or 9. 10 or 9 of June. From 11 to 31st of May, we have 21 days, right?
Yes.
And then we need 9 days more, right? So that's why the due date falls on 9 of
May.
Of June. 9 of June.
Actually, the
9 of June, but not
is
9 of, 9 of June, but not 9 of May. Sorry, we have information. I'm so sorry. For the first case, we calculate from, we calculate from 11 of April, right? April. 11 April to 30. We have 19, 20 days, right?
Yes.
20 days. And then we need 10 days more, right? That's why the due date falls on 10 of May. For the first case.
Yes.
Okay. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Okay. So now for the first case, the due date falls on 10 of May. Okay, 10 of May. What about the second case? Can you do you have the result?
The second case I think is the 9th of May.
So you mean that 1 day different?
Yes, because the second case they calculating from the day outside, which means 10th of May, 10th of April.
Okay, so Mr. Sorry, what's your name, please?
My name is Hùng.
Okay, Mr. Hùng said that the due date for the second case is 9 of May. What do you think about the result? Right or incorrect? Okay. Khánh Huyền, can you edit your name with the
Yes.
number?
Okay. For me, I think it is 10 of May.
Why?
Because in international payment, the after and from have the same meaning. So
Yeah.
we will not calculate the 10th of April. So we still calculate from the 11th of April.
Okay.
And the answer is the same as the number one question.
Yes. So for the second case, the due date is 10 of May. You mean that the same result as case 1, right? Right? Okay.
Yes.
So, yeah. Okay. So now, her answer is right because remember in the previous lessons, I don't remember exactly which lesson, but I said after and from have the same meaning when determine the due date on the financial documents in international transaction. Do you remember? And then because of that, we have the same result. So for the first case and second case, the due date falls on 10 of May. Okay, good. Okay, go on. Case number 3. Case number 3, Miss, I just saw Miss number 46 maybe? 46? Where is the 46?
No. I just wrong a bit. Miss a bit.
So maybe you wanted to answer the question number 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we are talking about case number 3, 60 days after death side. 60 days after death side. I guess you confused about the word of death, right? If we omit the date, we omit the word of death, we have 60 days after sign. It is easy, right? But in this case, we have 60 days after death sign. Okay, so now look at the what I'm sending to you. For the, what do you think about this one? At 60 days after death sign. And at 60 days after the sight. They are same or different? For the second part, at 60 days after sign, I'm sure that you can calculate because of you understand the meaning of sign, right? But number 3 is at 60 days after death side. Okay? So now, what's the meaning of death? In the case number 3, death here means issuing date of the being. Issuing date of the being. For the third case, date here means issuing date of the being. Okay, so please calculate the due date for case number 3. Okay, answer please. We understand the meaning of dates in the case number 3, and then now easy for you to calculate the due date. Okay, number 19, please.
The due date is the 31st of May.
How do you have that result?
The date side is on the 1st of April. So
Okay.
we calculate from the 2nd of April, and then we
Yes.
minus 60 days. We plus 60 days, and the answer is the 31st of May.
Okay, from 2nd to 30 of April, how many days we have?
29 days.
Okay, we have a 29 days. And we have how many days are there in May?
31 days.
31 days. Okay, so what about the due date?
So the due date will be on the 31st of May.
Okay.
31st, yeah.
31st?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so the due date is 31st of May, right? Okay, thank you very much. What about the case number 4? Case number 4, please. We use the term 60 days after BL date site. 60 days after BL date site. So what about the BL date? Who can repeat the meaning of BL date? BL date is shipment date. BL date is shipment date. Do you know which shipment date? Shipment date or shipping date or date of shipment, date for shipment. Okay, so now we have information of the BL. Oh, okay, BL is due on 31st of March. OBN is 1st of April. So what about the BL date for the case number 4? Okay, number 45, please.
I think the shipment date on the case 4 is OBN.
Yes, OBN date. It
Yeah.
means
It means the due date is on 1st of June.
so you calculate from 1st of April, or you calculate from 2nd of April.
I calculate from the 2nd of April.
Okay, so from 2nd of April to 30 of April, we have a 29 days, right?
Yeah.
So we need 30 days more, right? That's why the due date falls on. The due date falls on 31st. Okay, 31st of May. Right. It means that the same results as case number 3, right? Right?
Wait. I thought it's on the 1st of June.
1st of June. Why? Moment. We calculate from 2nd to 30, we have a 29 days, right? And we need 30 days more. That's why the due date falls on 31st of May. 31st, but not 1st of June. Okay, so the same result as
Yes.
case number 3.
Yes.
Yes, same, because we have a date issue date of BE is the first, and we have a OBN of BE is first too, the same day. That's why we have the same result. Okay. What about case number 5? Do we need to calculate? Do we need to calculate? For the 5, for the last case, 46, please.
I'm sorry, I don't have the answer, but I just asked you because we don't have the 31st June. I mean, the June has only 30 days.
Okay, sorry. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes? Okay, what about the due date for the last case? Thank you, Miss 46. Okay, number 45, please. Or maybe you forget to lower hand, right? Mr. Tang. Do you want to answer the question?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen
Okay.
case file yet.
Okay, so now look at the last case. On 30 of June 2020 site. We don't need to calculate because look at this term. We know exactly about the due date. Due date falls on the 30th of June. That is a fixed day. From now, for example, from today, 11th of May, we sign contract and we negotiate that the payment date or due date falls on 15th of July. That is a fixed day. We don't need to calculate. On 5th of July, they have to pay. That is the definition. Okay, so we have many different times to determine the due date when we use defer payment, not opposite of aside payment. Okay, so now I have a question for you. I think I have some question. Okay, now compare number 2 and number 3. Which one is the best for the exporter? Number 1 and number 3. Which one is the best for the exporter? I think that I have to change a little bit. Now, I will send you through chat. Number 6 is at 60 days after site. Okay, now compare number 6. I just sent to you number 6 and number 3. Number 6 and number 3, which one is the best for the exporter? Number 23, please.
As for me, I think the number 3 is better for exporter because the day is fixed, and when you have the at 60 days after site, maybe when the shipping date is extend, so the exporter will receive the money longer.
Yes. Yeah. So 2 reasons for you to explain. First one is because of easy for you to calculate the due date based on the date side, right?
Yes.
But for the after side, you cannot know exactly from now. It depends on the shipment date, and it depends on how long they send documents from Vietnam, for example, to foreign partner, right?
Yes.
That is the first reason. The second reason is the date, that issuing date of B happens earlier than the side time, right? Because you have to issue first, and then you send through post or courier, and then the BE arrive in the importer banks, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, 2 reasons. So, very good. The answer is number 3 is the best for the exporter. And of course, number 6 is the best for the drawee. Payer. Because you don't need to pay, you have right to pay later than the case number 3, okay? Okay, so now before we move to the amount of the B, I want you to remember here is my conclusion. Conclusion is at X days after always equivalent to at X days from ... It is the first notation. Okay, wait for me 1 minute, number 46. I want you to write out notation. First is at X days after is always is X at X days from ... That is the first notation. The second notation is at X days after date and at X day after date sign as the same. At X days after date and X days after date sign are the same. Okay, so now Miss 46, she want me to re-explain number 5, right?
Yes.
Number 5, okay.
Yes.
Number 5 is we have a fixed day. They show a fixed day on the contract, on the BE. The due date falls on 30th of June 2020. That's why we don't need to calculate. It doesn't depend on when you ship the goods. Maybe before or after 30th of June. But because of the exporter and the importer agreed to choose this one, the payment will be made on 30th of June. That's why we pay on this time, 30th of June. You don't need to calculate. In international trade, I think, in my opinion, we should not choose a fixed day like case number 5, because maybe we cannot we cannot make sure that the exporter sells the good in time. Maybe he refused sending the goods. That's why we face the risk. The importer faces the risk. That's why for me, we should not use this time. But in theory, we can choose this one. Do you understand my meaning?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So now, come back definition. Look at the definition again. At a fixed or determined future time, a certain sum, a sum certain or certain sum in money. Okay. So what's the meaning of certain sum or sum certain? I think that certain sum may be much better than sum certain, but it is from definition from textbook. Okay, what about the certain sum or sum certain? Okay, so now look at example on the slide. We have 5 cases about the money, the amount of the B from case number 1 to case number 5.
Teacher, can you zoom out the window for the whole suite? It's only a part.
Yeah, because it's easy for me to follow your distribution. Is it okay now? Is it okay now? Is it okay?
It's better. Thank you.
Okay. Clear for you? Clear to see? Okay. So we have 5 cases. The question is, which one will be acceptable? Which one? The definition say the certain sum or sum certain of money. So which one will be acceptable? Think about the way you explain to your classmate. For example, you say number 1 is not right, not acceptable. The most important is why you said that. Okay? So please think about 5 cases on the slide.